Hey guys, it's Cameron Bobier. Thanks for watching MotoAmerica on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and like the channel.
When that red light goes on, rev limiters, and away we go. And boy, Cameron Peterson looked like he got a good launch, but Jay?
Cam Bobier got a good launch too, it looked like there, and he's going to lead him off into turn one, maybe? Nope, Gagne lets go of the lever, and Schultz rides around the outside of Bobier also as Cam Peterson looks to try to get past Bobier, but I don't think he's going to make it, Greg, as they get up to that turn 2, 3, 4 area for the first time. This is that single file area that I told you about. Good to see all our riders get through, although looked like Hayden Gillen got a horrendous start as he's at the tail end of that field there. Gagne, though, off to the front. This is what everybody does not want to see as he tried, he's so good in that first lap.
Yeah, and the fresh and lean progressive Yamaha rider, Jake Gagne, not only the first lap, his plan is to really try to turn the screws and put the pressure on the rest of the field for at least the first 3 laps and see where he sorts himself out. The Westby Racing, number 11, right there, Matthew Schultz in second.
Curious to see what this BMW does on the back straightaway. It's been showing some pretty big speed numbers. Will he be able to just draft right past the Yamaha of Matthew Schultz? The answer to that looks like yes as he goes through. Cam Bobier moves himself in through to second place as they come down the hill. Under brakes into turn 10 for the first time. Look at Herron. Herron has moved himself past Cam Peterson on that Ducati as well, Greg, to get himself up into 4th. But it's that guy up front again doing what he does, breaking away early. He's probably got 4/10 to half a second or more on the field. We'll confirm that as they come across the line the first time. And, I looked at the start there. Bobier got a good jump. Full second almost, Greg, was the lead for Gagne as they came across the line that first time by. And so, P.J. Jacobson has gone down already, Greg. Looks like up probably in that turn 2, 3, 4 area. Some people say it might have just been easier for him to jump on a Yamaha or whatever. I love the fact that he's on a BMW with this Tytler's team. They're going to do everything they can to give him what they need. But every lap that they turn right now in this race is going to be stuff that they're going to be learning from. They'll go back through that sheet later on and figure out we lost this many seconds on that lap or 1/10 of a second here or there. And they're going to try to do everything they can to keep bridging that gap and get closer and closer to Gagne.
Well, Hannah's got more on the number 6, Cam Bobier, in his return. Hannah?
Well, Jason, as you mentioned, it's a little bit challenging for him to be back on the bigger bike, but he feels that his time in Moto2 has really elevated his riding. He's grown his craft while he was over.
With Josh Herron, number 2, as he has been moved up on that Warhorse HSBK Racing Ducati Panigale V4R into Medallia Superbike, and then Cameron Peterson, who's on his second year on that fresh and lean progressive Yamaha, as Matthew Schultz is just trying to hold on to these 2 as well. That's the battle for the final spot on the podium.
And the biggest thing for him is really just trying to understand what it is that he's feeling on the motorcycle and then how to articulate to his team what he's feeling so that they can make the necessary changes for improvement.
Pass for the lead. Cameron Bobier goes by after the back straightaway, showing the strength of that BMW.
And he can continue. Gagne, he doesn't get shook up very easily, Greg. And you can see the BMW was able to get in that draft down that back straightaway, almost put up a number of 190 mile an hour. I think, again, Gagne is not going to get shook up by this too much. He is expecting this from Cam Bobier. He's expecting to have to do a lot of battling with this guy this year. And now it's a good time for him to be able to see what he's going to be up against.
And I think really, if you're Jake Gagne, you can understand. Is he going to throw a shot? He doesn't really need to at this point. Because not only does Jake Gagne understand that the BMW team might not know how this bike's going to react. Some of the teams are able to do it, some teams not. Like the Vision Wheel M4 X-Star Suzuki team doesn't really have it because it's not available in other places on that bike. By the way, the return of Tony Elias has him in 8th place, just behind Corey Alexander, who's making his Tytler Cycle Superbike debut on a full-blown Superbike. The battle up front between Cameron Bobier and Jake Gagne. And it does seem, Jason, looking at those lap times, that Gagne's he's cool right now to hang out. You see a little bit of movement at the end of that acceleration run on the back of that BMW. And definitely, in terms of bikes being settled, the well-sorted out, fresh and lean progressive Yamaha looks perfect right now.
I think you put it best, even on this front view. You can see that the BMW is a little bit wider. It's got that top speed. We got 2 bikes that look like they're operating a little bit differently. The Yamaha here, it might be an advantage for Gagne to be following him right now, especially if the lap times start to drop a little bit, for sure. And I think the other thing that might influence Gagne's choices as the race progresses is watching that pit board. If he starts seeing that come down from plus say 4 to plus 3.6 now. Might even be less this next lap. If he starts to see that progressively come down, he might want to make a move on Beaubier sooner rather than later, because Herrin is coming here and he's going to be ready to go, and he never gives up, and he's going to see these guys. If he starts to get a sniff that they're coming back to him at all.
A 123.828.
Wow, did you see that thing moving around, Greg? Especially towards the end of the curbing there, that BMW was really getting wound up in second gear off that turn. You could see the thing really getting spinny on Cameron Beaubier. So again, though, I'm going to continue to watch as Cam Peterson has gone 26.7. These guys are literally, they're catching that lead group. You said they're 3.5. They're 3.3 behind the leader, but they're only 2.9 behind Gagne. And Gagne's board is the key board here, right, Greg? Because we saw that it was up to 3.6 or 7, maybe even 4 earlier. That's come down, and that's why you might start to see Gagne start thinking about where he wants to get by Beaubier. Now, I haven't seen too many places where it looks like that's going to be an easy task, because Beaubier is really good, obviously, and fast down this back straightaway and breaks awful late coming down in here into turn 10. He's also incredible into turn 1.
Gagne's been really working on front end field, getting a little bit more speed into the corner and try to, become more of a balanced rider in how he makes speed and to have those tools in his toolbox. So it really comes down to some confidence, as we know that Beaubier is so good on the brakes, coming down into 10A. But here's where Beaubier looks over his shoulder. Talked about that communication. He gets a decent drive, but Gagne didn't even bother getting in the draft this time. Beaubier on the number 6, Jake Gagne on the number 1. BMW versus Yamaha. Let's take a look at the drive coming out of 7 here for Gagne.
That is the first time I've seen Beaubier close the door on an entry into a corner, which was turn 6. He moved over to the right a little bit, and you saw Gagne had nowhere to go but to the left. So that's craftsmanship, that's racecraft that Beaubier is now trying to show. As you can see here, Gagne actually looks closer this time, Greg, than he has the whole race.
I think it was because the tire was spinning for Beaubier, and that could be also a little bit of intrusion with traction control, slowing that BMW down. This is it, the final lap of Medallia Superbike race number 1. Cameron Beaubier has led for such a long time. Josh Herrin in his return to Superbike, only 1.6 seconds behind. But now it's on Jake Gagne. What can he do to try to pass Cameron Beaubier? Is this going to be a storybook start to the 2023 season for Beaubier, the number 6, who comes back from a lackluster 2 years in Europe and the Moto2 bike, trying to regain his confidence with a brand new team, different manufacturer than we saw him leave with? What's going to happen between these two riders? The BMW has got such a strong motor underneath them. At this point, it looks like Gagne, if he's got a chance, he's got to do something with him, Jay, in turn number 7.
No, he's not close enough. I thought he might try to duck up the inside of him. It's not close enough, Greg. So now it's an all-important run down this back straightaway, and Gagne is going to have to do everything he can to get as small as he can. But, Greg, look at this BMW. It's just getting away from the Yamaha as they creep over the brow of this hill. Cam will probably close the door a little bit. As he does, he's kind of mid-track and made it really hard for Gagne to do anything as we see a bike down in the gravel.
Turn 10A, 10B, Cameron Beaubier coming up over the hill. There is lap traffic there, but hopefully he'll miss it. Here comes Cameron Beaubier down the hill, hard on the brakes, the Tytler Cycle BMW rider in his first run back to the checkered flag. As the checkered flag waits, it is Cameron Beaubier who takes victory over Jake Gagne by 0.3 of a second. And he's done it. What a storybook return to the United States for the Californian.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty unbelievable. I'm a little bit speechless right now, and I'm super impressed with not only both our first two, but how about Herrin in his return? He ends up only 1.9 seconds off the win, so that bodes well for that team as well. All 5 of these riders, we had top 5 guys 3.8 seconds apart from each other.